This Bentley is called the Continental GT Speed, and despite having the word speed in its name, it's actually exceptionally slow. Just kidding. This thing is stupid fast. Has a 6-liter twin turbocharged W12, and it makes 600 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. All-wheel drive as standard. It'll do 0 to 60 in the low 4-second range, the quarter mile in 12.5, up to a top speed of 202 miles an hour, all while weighing 5,500 pounds. For a frame of reference, that is essentially as fast as a first-generation Audi R8 V8. And actually, in top speed, it's faster. I think the R8 can only do like 187. This will do over 200 miles an hour. Now, when brand new, this was quite an expensive Bentley. It's the two-door coupe, the Speed version. Now that it's depreciated many years later, we are going to check out what it's like to drive a 50,000-mile Bentley Continental GT Speed. In addition to that extra power and, well, speed, the Continental GT Speed came with optional $16,500 carbon ceramic brakes. This one doesn't have it, but what this does have is the different wheels. You have a slightly lowered and stiffened suspension system, different exhaust tips out back, and this thing sounds pretty good too. That W12, even though it's a Bentley, starts up and idles away there, sounding pretty aggressive. I mean, it does have 600 horsepower. On the inside, we'll talk about some of that later, but you get different quilting on the seats and you get a different shift knob as all part of the Continental GT Speed package. In terms of exterior design, almost all the generations of the Continental GT stayed relatively similar to each other. They kind of just gradually evolved. They changed the positioning and slightly the shape of the headlights, but the grille shape and everything stayed relatively the same. That has a benefit and a downside. It's a good-looking vehicle. It's classy, it's luxurious, instantly recognizable as the Bentley Continental. But at the same time, it started to feel a little bit dated because it stayed the same for so long. But on this one, you get the kind of signature Bentley cross grille. You've got the quad headlights up front. And I really do like the way the coupe looks. And then as we go around the side, I'll show you guys some of the other details. One of my favorite parts of the exterior of the Continental GT is the frameless and B-pillarless window. When you put both these windows down, this is just one giant opening, and that looks really, really cool. And then as we come around to the back, this is a 2010 model year, so it has the slightly updated taillights from the first generation. And as I mentioned earlier, as a Speed, it has this larger giant exhaust pipe back there. When you press the Bentley B, your trunk will open in the back. It is a coupe, so it looks a little swoopier and sportier and more aggressive. But dimension-wise, this is the size of like a normal sedan. The wheelbase is like essentially the same length as a normal family sedan. But because of the way the roofline swoops down and everything, the rear seats aren't as usable. There's a trade-off there of the comfort and practicality versus the sportiness of it being the Continental GT. If you want the full-size one, you go get the Flying Spur, and that's why they made both of them. The first impression I had when I sat down in this Continental GT is, wow, this has very, very nice materials, and it feels like a very premium luxury vehicle. So leather is on many, many surfaces. Many cows lost their lives to line the inside of this Bentley. There are something like 17 different shades of leather you could option on your Continental. This one just has black, but it's got red contrast stitching. It's held up quite well. I mean, leather on so many different surfaces, the dash, the headliner here. The seats are so very comfortable. They hold you in nicely. They're quilted. And some other touches that you get as it being a Speed are metal brake pedal and gas pedal. You get the metal like knurling on the transmission shift knob here. Some things that aren't doing so well anymore. The technology, as you would expect, has aged. This is a 10-year-old car. Think about how fast technology advances. Think about using a 10-year-old cell phone. You'd be like, what is this museum piece? So the infotainment is quite out of date. But what's never going to go out of technology, or never going to go out of style, is going to be the excellent materials, design. It still has some of the features you'd expect. Cruise control. We have 6-way adjustable heated seats. You can raise and lower your rear wing. You can also change your suspension settings there. On the inside, this is still, at its core, a very nice, luxurious driver's Bentley coupe. So now, the other thing we need to try out is getting in the back. So this is, let's see, I'm going to adjust my seat to where I would normally be sitting as a 6'3" individual. And now let's see if I can get in the back. And I have a feeling it's not going to go quite well. Is there a lever that I can pull? Maybe it's this thing that we couldn't figure out. There, that's what it was. Okay. I don't know which way to go. Okay, this way. All right. Oh, that's graceful. But what I can't do is sit up completely straight. So it's irrelevant if somebody is sitting in front or not. I legitimately cannot straighten my spine. Like I was saying earlier, that headline really does kill your headroom. So if I was back here, these seats are pretty comfy. Width-wise is okay, but legroom, ow, is not going to be, ow, that hurt, is not possible at all. In the back, you have air vents, typical, but the back seats are probably best reserved for either groceries or small animals or a backpack or something that's not a 6'3" human. Okay, I'm out of here. So since this is a 600 horsepower Bentley, I think we've spent enough time talking about the outside and inside, so let's go drive it now. So what is it like to drive a Bentley Continental GT Speed? You know how that phrase, like a mountain of torque or a wave of torque, is frequently used to describe how an engine feels or a car feels? Well, I think that phrase was invented with this car, because oh my God, just all this power down low, and it's so smooth and isolated from the road. Well, there are luxury cars that ride nice, like an A7 or a 5 Series or an E-Class. This is a whole nother level with the air suspension. It's also so isolated from the road. I mean, there's barely any wind noise, tire noise. You get a little bit of intrusion of this muffled, distant grumble of that engine as it kind of growls in the background. That whole 6 liters and 12 cylinders going along. But this is a very, very refined and comfortable experience. I actually like this a lot. I'm legitimately impressed with how this 50,000 mile, decade-old Bentley Continental GT drives. And, well, when you put your foot down, like I'm about to, it doesn't have that kind of all of a sudden neck snapping acceleration. It doesn't spin the tires or do anything crazy aggressive. You're just kind of here and then you're there all of a sudden. That 600 horsepower is not a joke. Holy crap. So, no, you don't have all the fancy new tech. You don't have some of the things that luxury cars are accepted to have now. I mean, there's no heads-up display, there's no lane keep assist. You have massage seats, you have heated seats, you have 600 horsepower, and you have comfort. This, oh man, I like this thing a lot. This is the definition of a grand touring vehicle. The only downside I can think of is the fact that it averages 13 mpg combined, 10 city and 17 freeway, which is quite abysmal. It can't even hit 20 on the freeway. If I'm being 100% honest, when I drove a Rolls-Royce Dawn and a Rolls-Royce Wraith, I really wanted to love it. I wanted to blow my mind and be like, this is the pinnacle of luxury coupe, of luxury vehicle daily driver. And I came away kind of having my dream slightly deflated. I didn't completely fall in love with it. I was like, well, I mean, an S-Class coupe or an S63 is like this thing, but just a little cheaper. With this Bentley, I don't know, I feel something different. I think it's that 12-cylinder engine, so maybe I need to drive an S65. The Rolls-Royce had a V12 and it was very nice, but something about this, maybe because I'm not quite the age of a Rolls-Royce buyer yet, I like that this is a little more driver-focused, which the Continental GT has always been a little more driver-focused than a Rolls-Royce. This thing is special. I like this experience, even though it's old and it's a decade old and the tech looks kind of ancient. It has an undeniable charm to it. I enjoy driving this Bentley Continental GT Speed. So even though you can't fit full-size adults in the back, even though this infotainment looks like an Etch-a-Sketch, this thing has a charm to it. It is effortless. You just put your foot down, and even though you're burning dinosaurs at 10 mpg, I don't really care. This is what it means to have something nice. It's a decade old, it's traveled 50,000 miles, but that means it's much more in the realm of affordability. This is quite a cool vehicle. I 100% would daily drive one of these. I like the Bentley Continental GT Speed quite a bit. If you guys are interested in purchasing the vehicle or seeing more awesome cars in inventory, definitely check out Platinum Motor Cars in Michigan. I'll link the website below. They've got this, they've got a 2005 Continental. I gotta go check out that Continental GT and see how it compares. Spend time in some Bentleys recently, brand new Bentegas. Those are incredibly fast and incredibly nice, but had a vaguely kind kind of Audi feel to them. The Mulsanne was awesome. I spent most of my time in the backseat of that because I had Josefa drive me around. This is the one that you want to drive yourself in. This is the cool daily driver luxury coupe. This is the Grand Touring Coupe for those who have made it. Wow. I like this thing a lot, more than I expected to. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out the kind of behind the scenes vlog where you kind of played around some other things, like how to open the hood. The way to open a hood on a Bentley Continental GT was not something I expected. But hope you guys like it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.